Hello everyone, here's my attempt to take 5. I've never really tried doing Shannon Green's Take 5 exercise because the idea of doing anything to time frightens me to death. I'm going to take 5 of everything as I go through. So the first thing is I'm going to paint the background with 5 different implements. So I'm going to use a sponge, a brush, a palette knife, a fan brush to splatter on my fingers. Then I'm going to use 5 different colours, 2 different greens, a yellow, a black and a white. I'm actually looking at a paper from my book of unused paint that I'm going to not copy, but try and sort of vaguely reproduce, because I like the colours and I like the way it came out, but I didn't have enough of it to actually make a piece that was the right size. Okay, so here's my palette. The colours, which are all Ducraft. It's a cheap craft paint that you get here, Ducraft's Artiste acrylic paint. I've got spring green, soft green, buttercup, and then I've got just white and black, which I don't need very much of because they are going to be very watered down. So I'm going to use my fingers and a sponge. I've never really used a palette knife, but I just wanted to have an extra implement. So I'm just going to do a few splodges. Here we go with the black, which is very watered down, and it's just literally marks. Okay, so I've used 5 implements, 5 colours, and I know this is all a bit contrived, but I can't stop myself from overthinking. So I've chosen from Jelly Prints and from my book of unused paint, I've chosen some to put squares out of, so that's the next step. Okay, so this is the second stage, which is to add collage, and here's my 5 bits of squares that I'm going to add, and I'm going to do that with Mod Podge and give the whole thing a coat of Mod Podge at the end, which you don't need to watch. So there we are, all Mod Podge down. Got a few wrinkles. I probably should have Mod Podge the back of the squares before I stuck them down. That's more or less dry. You can see the wrinkles, but as I say, there's going to be so much over the top of it, I don't think that's really going to matter. So the next step is to use those stencils and stamps. I've picked out 3 stencils and 2 stamps to complete my next part, and this is one of the stencils I've chosen. I'm not sure which bit of it I'm going to use yet. Now I'm going to use the script stencil somewhere, and this is one of my favourite stencils. It's called Pixelated. So I've decided to put a leaf in the bottom corner here, and I'm going to stencil it with lavender, and you'll see why I've used lavender later on. It might seem like an odd choice. It might be an odd choice. I like that, so I'm going to do another one in the top left hand corner. I'm tempted to do a few more of those, but I know there's so much more to go on. We'll just see what it's like at the end of this step. Okay, this is a script stamp. I'm obviously not going to do all of it, but I'm just going to put little bits of it here and there. I'm not really choosing any bits. I'm not even looking really at where it's going. I'm just doing it a bit randomly, I hope. Really hard to be random. So I'm going to do the same thing with Pixelated, just put the stencil down and just do little bits here and there. I'm actually quite surprised at how much I like the look of this already, but I didn't expect to like it quite so much. Anyway, the next thing is stamping. Right, I've got two stamps, and one I'm going to stamp in Ranger Archival Leaf Green, and the other one I'm going to stamp with StazOn Jet Black. I've decided I want a bit more of that lavender, those lavender leaves. I don't want to make a mess of it. I'm laughing because I just heard myself say I don't want to make a mess of it. Decided to pick out flowers, and I picked out these 5, which I'm going to fussy cut. I don't expect you to watch me fussy cutting, so I'll show you when I've finished. I am really liking this now, which I never thought I would. But now's the step I'm dreading, which is using pens and pencils. I am absolutely useless at doodling, and I just feel I might spoil the whole thing. So I'm going to rely a little bit on shading and a little bit on doing the border, and then we'll see what else. But before we start, I'm going to go make myself a cup of coffee because I've been up for 2 hours already. Yeah, so much for take 5 minutes. Yeah, I'm going to start with my trusty Stabilo around the sunflower, just do a bit of shading. This is going to take a while, and this will count as step 1. I'm going to try and do 5 different steps. In step 2 I'm going to use my fine liner, and I'm going to put some sketchy lines on the lilac leaves. You can see what I've done there, and I'm going to do that to all the lilac leaves that I can see. Okay, so there's the black border, which I've done with a Sharpie pen and a ruler. I'm just going to leave that to dry before I put the white dots on it. For step 5 I'm going to put some white dots into the background. I couldn't really show you very much of this because I'm doing the dots so close together that I need to lean over the page in order to see what I'm doing, and then my head gets in the way. All done. Here's the close-ups.